This is Showtime Eric Young from Team Canada's TNA Wrestling. You're listening to In Your Head Online. And big crowds scare me, so hopefully not a lot of people watch this. I get nervous.
All right, we're back. Welcome to In Your Head with Jack and my co-host.
1 inch biceps.
And the man from the UK.
Mr. Bobby Richards.
And with us this week is Wrestling News Live Zone, Trey and JSK. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, where's all the beer we were promised?
Yeah, no shit, man. The only reason I came in here to do this fucking show is because I thought I was going to get some beer.
No shit.
We have to see how the show turns out first.
Oh, okay. All right.
I have some bottled water for you.
I didn't read the contract.
Damn.
You got to read the fine print, man.
That fine print.
Yeah.
That legal jumbo.
Fucking eBay guys.
Shooting stars.
I'm telling you. So what's up with the In Your Head gang?
All right, well, we got you guys on this week. We got the new site up at inyourheadonline.com.
By the way, the new site looks great. Congratulations.
I actually did go by there last night. I just bullshit.
Thanks, guys.
Well, thanks for letting us all know that you're telling the truth.
I am telling the truth.
Tyler did a hell of a job with the website.
I went by another site that only had that just started up for some reason, and God knows why this site started up, but they had 2 people that had signed up to the site, and I think maybe 4
2
people.
whole members?
I think it's a two-person revolution.
Oh, you better check the IP addresses. That could be the same person just on there twice.
Well, no, because I recognize one of the names from our place, so at least unless they just copied his URL, which
you never know.
You never know.
I think there's only one poster there, though.
Yeah.
There's actually 2 posts, but they're both by the same person. Anyway.
Oh, God.
Enough of that bullshit.
Everybody listening probably knows, but...
Yeah.
How do you listen to you guys' show? At audiowrestling.com?
You can go to audiowrestling.com. You can cut out through all the middleman shit and go to wrestlingnewslive.com. And it's usually up for your listening pleasure every Monday or Tuesday, but I think AudioWrestling.com's offices have took a little time off for the holiday because they've got the show, they just haven't uploaded it yet. So
that happens more times. I mean, not a whole lot of times, but it does happen. But I mean, it'll still be up sometime this week.
But you can always listen live at 11 p.m. Eastern time,
the live
Sunday
show
nights.
is definitely better than the recorded show.
Yeah, and you can go to the chat room, which is fun.
Right, there's more interaction going on.
You can interact with me there. I'm there almost every Sunday.
Yeah, you never know. You never know what could be said. I want to start this off by saying this.
Oh, here we go.
When we came to AudioWrestling.com, some of the biggest haters that we had are on the other end of the phone from us right now.
Yeah, no shit.
And now we've come full circle to the point where they've invited us to come on their own show.
Well, we thought we'd give you the rub.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for the rub.
The intro rub.
Right.
Bad touch. The night is young.
Not if I don't get that beer, it won't be.
I think you were the one who asked me when you were going to get on the show.
Yeah, I did, because you said, you know what, we're going to have so-and-so on from this show and so-and-so on from this show. And I said, what about me? What about Raven?
Hey, you're ahead on our poll. We have a poll on our site.
Yeah?
Besides the epitome of entertainment.
Right.
Who is your favorite talk show host, wrestling host?
Yeah.
I think you guys are in the lead.
Wow. I'll have to go check that out.
Really?
Yep.
Call all my friends. All 4 of them.
You get some people voting.
Not bad for a couple of redneck hillbillies from Missouri.
That's right.
How long?
I'm going to go vote for you now.
Well, thank you. I'll vote for you.
Did you ever get anything back from Heidenreich?
From Heidenreich?
No, I'm talking to Barb. He signed up.
I was just saying, if the answer to that is a scorching case of herpes, this interview's over with.
I got me a milk mustache.
Oh.
So Heidenreich does have a friend.
For those people not keeping up, there was a while back on WWE.com the option for you to send in a picture and a name to be put into a gallery of people who were dubbed as Heidenreich's friends on WWE.com. I sent in a picture of myself and a name, and yet to materialize. I'm not going to point any fingers, but...
So what's up with the draft on Audio Wrestling?
Well, from what I understand, it's basically a way to shake things up for the summer, because wrestling in the summertime usually goes to the shit house. But a way to
Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Just look at Monday Night Raw. There's a prime example of how wrestling can go in the shit house during the summertime.
We'll get to that in a minute. I definitely want to talk about that with these guys, get their take
the
on
winter,
it.
the spring, the fall.
So I think what they're trying to do is just spark a little interest in audio wrestling, and I have already been drafted to Wrestle Talk Radio. Now, Tits McGee was drafted to WNL.
You know, I'm not really happy about that, bitch.
And then she quit because she didn't want to co-host with JSK, I don't think.
I think I intimidated her a little bit. She might fear the JSK.
That's possible. So now I understand that the gang from In Your Head Radio is involved in the draft as well. So
we might be losing barbed wire.
There's a possibility. There's a possibility. I don't know.
I could be taking JSK's spot on Wrestling News Live.
Yeah. You just never know how this is going to shake up.
Wow. Yeah. Isn't that special?
So you might be hearing Barb this Sunday.
It's very possible.
Tune into Wrestling News Live. See what's going on.
I think there's got to be some restitution made here because your pick bailed on you.
Yeah, I know. I mean, what's up with that? I mean, I don't know the rules of this draft. I don't know what the hell.
I'm already scheduled for my appearance on Wrestle Talk Radio this Sunday.
Well, hey, I don't care. I'll bring somebody on. I don't give a shit. If they won't send me somebody, which I think they should send me somebody, because, I mean, this was sprung on me. I didn't know nothing about it. I get home and, hey, man, I'm getting drafted. What? So I don't know what the hell's going on. As far as I'm concerned, since my draft pick bailed on me, and hey, I thought I went after a good one. I thought Tits McGee was going to be the one. But, and I wanted to be to draft a female because I like females.
It sounds like you're thinking with your little head, if you know what I mean.
You know what? I probably was. and now that I've seen her true colors and seen how she really is, the little head ain't thinking about it anymore.
Well, maybe you could get Lollipop to appear on Wrestling News Live with you next week.
Well, see, now that would be great. We have had...
she's been on a few times.
She's been on a couple of times. We've interviewed her, and she's actually been to our hometown once.
Yeah.
And that was really cool.
Get a Lollipop for her.
Yeah.
Now, you behave, brother, because that's one of my girls, and I ain't going to stand for that shit.
All right. I've been wondering about this. You guys talked about a lot on the show. What about these hot sauces? Are they really good?
Yeah,
my God.
You know what? No bullshit, guys. I mean, we got this sponsor 3 years ago.
Yeah, around that
time. And when I met the guy, and he's a great guy, and he really is. If you go over there to that website, you'll see everything that he's accomplished. And we've got
the whole collection of his sauce.
The whole collection of everything, and I use it every day. Seriously.
Why, Jack, what a silly question. These are the greatest hot sauces that I have ever tasted in all of my life.
Don't make me whip out that old commercial, buddy, because I'll do it. You know the funny thing about cutting that, the reason why we even use that commercial, because it's one of those things where when something sucks so bad it's funny.
Oh, yeah.
That was that commercial.
And there was probably literally about 25 outtakes.
Yeah.
Just from that commercial. And even if you listen to the one we decided to go with, you hear me laughing a few times because I couldn't quit laughing at JSK reading his lines. And every time we play that spot, and he says, after reading Chili Pepper Magazine, like we just had a copy of that shit laying around the house.
I actually got a monthly subscription to Chili Pepper Magazine.
Uh-huh. I laugh I never get tired of hearing that commercial.
Oh, yeah, it's good stuff.
Well, you haven't heard the commercial that Jack and 1 Inch Biceps cut for DJ Tyler's Poison Amphetamines yet?
Oh, no, we haven't had that privilege.
No, we haven't heard it yet either. That was the last we heard of it. He told us we sounded like school children doing a play.
Really?
I think that was high praise.
Well,
I think I would take that as a compliment.
I will break some news for you here on In Your Head Online. I said news, not when. I said this on the end of our show, I think, this week. We have a sponsor that I'm going to go after that, I think there's a good shot we could actually get this sponsor. So we figure we'll go start high and work our way down.
You know what?
Hey,
shoot for the moon, baby.
Right.
You'll still land somewhere amongst the stars.
That's right, Casey Kasem.
The worst you can hear is no.
We're going to try to go after Coors Light beer.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
When you think about it, they don't advertise on the internet.
That's their website.
When you go to their website, You have to put in your birthday for every page you look at. It's a hassle. So why not pay us to tell everybody to drink their beer, because we're not regulated by the FCC in what we say.
And we do drink their beer.
Yeah, and wrestling fans have to be big beer drinkers, you think?
Yeah.
You guys are down south?
Yeah. It's a,
win-win situation.
One big back-scratching incident right there.
So what are you going to do with this big Coors Light money?
Probably
bring Jack on the show more often?
We can do that.
Buy some Coors Light.
Probably what's going to end up happening.
So all the money... The money will
we
just
probably
go right
wouldn't
back.
get paid money. They'll just send us cases of Coors Light. Here, guys.
That's what Raw Dog did. They paid us a check at the beginning of every month for a certain amount, and then they send us like 2 cases of product every month.
Right.
So is that your beer of choice, Coors?
Yeah. Coors Light. For
Why,
the
Jack?
show.
This is the greatest beer I've tasted in my life.
Hey, JSK, what do you think of the Coors Light today?
Oh, we drinking Coors Light.
We can have some fun with that commercial. What the funny thing is,
Coors Light.
before I play that hot sauce ad, I always explain this is why we never became actors. Because we would be worse than Dawson's Creek. I'm telling you.
Oh, that's one
Don't be dogging on Dawson's Creek. You know you watch that shit religiously. You watch that shit religiously.
I watched it for the fucking hot chicks.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so over the creek.
Your story. You can tell it any way you want.
That's why when I was in the 8th grade, I used to watch Saved by the Bell with my pants down.
Yeah. There you go.
That's too much information.
And all they gave you was Screech. You're like, enough of Screech. I want
You know, that poor guy, I feel so bad for him. He was actually here in Springfield doing his stand-up comedy not too long ago.
Yeah, he was.
And with your sense of humor, all 3 of you, you should go rent a movie. I think it's called Pauly Shore is Dead.
That's what it's called.
Okay.
Oh, I've heard of that movie. I've never seen it, though.
I'm guilty of walking through Blockbuster and grabbing that movie and seeing the list of celebrities that he had in the movie, and I thought to myself, this is going to be cool. I'll check this out. And they did a big part with Screech, and they cut him out of the movie.
Yeah.
Now that's when you know that your career has gone into the shit house.
You don't
get cut out
When
of
you
a Pauly
can't even
Shore
get in a Pauly Shore movie, you've been cut for time.
I think it's time to drink some vodka and commit suicide.
I think so.
Screech is dead for real.
He made a TNA appearance.
Yeah, TNA.
Yeah.
Well,
It didn't go over very well.
no. And the funny thing is, in the movie, the clip they cut out is this really, really smoking hot chick, and she calls him Screech, and he goes, look, if you call me Screech one more time, I'm going to take you up back and make you Screech.
Did they have, like, deleted scenes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
At
the
least you
deleted
didn't
scenes.
direct that.
The deleted scenes and the special footage on the DVD are better than the movie itself.
And that's, yeah.
And Pauly Shore's no idiot. To get you to watch the special scenes and deleted scenes, he's laying in a bed with Paris and Nikki Hilton.
Yeah.
So, who hasn't already seen that?
Right.
It's just,
He was the last.
it's just not green.
He was the last one left in Hollywood that wasn't bad with Paris. Did I say that on the air?
That's right. Pauly Shore's going to kick your ass.
I know
Oh,
it.
man.
Oh, God. Now, that's a celebrity death match I'd like to see.
There you go.
They still do those, the celebrity boxing? I haven't seen
No,
those
they
for
quit
quite a
doing
while.
those. Those were really good too. I watched every one of them. I thought they were
Yeah, I
funny.
thought they were pretty
I'd like to
smart,
see JSK and the Phantom on celebrity boxing.
Oh, I don't know. I think there's too much of a weight advantage.
Yeah,
I don't
probably.
care. If you
The
go,
Phantom's a ringer.
if you go and run your mouth like you're a big dog, you better be able to hold up with the big dog.
Woof woof, baby.
You guys want to comment on Get in the Ring? And what they said about you guys? The call in with Sir Adam?
Oh, you know,
You just want to let it lie.
Are we still doing a show?
well, they've got a new show out, I think, but you know, you want to sit there and talk about us and dog us for our guest selection. You look at the difference between WrestlingNewsLive.com and the Get in the Ring page, and just scroll down and look at the guests from the last year. I think that pretty much tells you everything you need to know. And when you're doing a big farewell show because you're bowing out to the guys from WrestleCrap, and the best you can do is Mark Madden for a guest, I think you pretty much bury yourself.
Now let's not be talking down to Scott Bowden.
Hey, anybody who works at KFC is all right with me.
He works at KFC.
Is the Colonel still around?
Doesn't he work for Kentucky Fried Chicken? That Scott Bowden guy?
Kentucky Fried.
Hey, I work
Could be Kentucky Fried Wrestling.
About 16.
Oh, okay.
Pretty cool job for a teenager.
Yeah.
For a teenager. So's Taco Bell.
I worked at Taco Bell. That was actually my first job. Taco Bell. Bartender.
Well, I've never worked in a fast food place ever.
No, me neither.
I don't know, man. I mean, the food is pretty good sometimes, but you can make your own shit when you're working.
They get free food.
If I worked at a fast food joint, I would end up going from radio to TV because I'd be on TV for killing some motherfucker. I promise you.
You've been waiting to throw that in all week, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
You guys ever think about doing a reality show with you two?
Actually, you know what? I think it was last year. We got approached by VH1. We
got approached by VH1.
We got approached by VH1.
What was that show called? It was Obsessed. Yeah.
And what they did is they went and actually found the guys that Obsessed with wrestling because that was the website.
Okay.
Right.
And they knew it, and they said, well, we don't do anything really but this website, but we know a couple of guys that do a radio show, or an internet show that's been doing it for...
And they would be highly entertaining to put on VH1.
Right, and so VH1 contacted us, and they were talking about doing the show, doing a show.
They were going to... Yeah, they wanted us to send in a video of what we do, and at the time, it was just a real bad time for us. But then... They called us back like 2 months later, and we're even contemplating sending a camera crew down to where we were.
Right.
And it just fell through, but the guy said, hey, you know...
I think that obsession only lasted for one season.
Yeah, one season. I don't think so either.
Did they ever do a wrestling show?
I think they had a couple of wrestling people. Like a guy that collected all kinds of wrestling memorabilia or something. Yeah. I don't remember exactly, but... Even after the show ran its course, I can't think of the guy's name. I've got his card somewhere. He's in charge of several other VH1 shows. And he said he would still like to do something that showcased what we do. And especially right now, I mean, look at it this way. No offense, but you've got wrestling radio shows popping up all over the place now.
Right, exactly.
And internet radio. I had a conversation with the offices at WWE last week. And... I asked them simply, what is your beef with internet radio? I know that you have never allowed your guests to do internet radio, and I just want to know why, with the internet radio business booming the way that it is, people go to work, they don't listen to the radio, they listen through their computer to streams of something.
Well, there's a high percentage of people that all they do is sit in front of a computer all freaking day.
Yeah, and so they entertain themselves by streaming music or streaming wrestling radio shows.
You should know because they have their pay-per-views on streaming audio now, or you can buy them off their WWE.com, and they have their jukebox thing.
Yeah.
I think they would let the guys go on the internet radio shows.
Well, look at Bite This. What is Bite This? Bite This is an internet wrestling show.
Maybe they think it's competition if they let someone else go on another internet-only show.
My main comparison was this. You just brought out, or you just played Matt Hardy's music at a wedding angle that to the television-only fan, Matt Hardy didn't have anything to do with.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That was done just because of the internet fan who reads the internet, reads WrestleView.com, the official news source of Wrestling News Live, and then goes to a Monday Night Raw or a SmackDown or a house show or a pay-per-view and chants you screwed Matt, Lita's a slut. Where do they get that? From the internet. And like JSK said earlier, some of these FM radio stations, the majority of them that do wrestling, to my knowledge, they're not streamed on the internet. Only Between the Ropes has that luxury. So you're limiting your listenership to as far as that antenna will broadcast. Mm-hmm. The internet is worldwide. Look at your show. Your show is a perfect example. How many hosts do you have, and where are they from?
Yeah, we've got fans from Australia, New Zealand,
Korea.
I guess I should rant when I'm the guest.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. Gives me a break.
I'm going to go grab a beer. You guys talk amongst yourselves. Here's the topic. The Partridge Family. They weren't partridges, nor were they a family. Speak.
Yeah, that's pretty funny shit.
That Danny Partridge.
Nice bust, though.
Who?
I'm not talking about the Partridge Family. I don't care.
Okay.
Although they did do a remake. Do you remember the whole remake to find the new partridges? Do you remember that? Again, that was a VH1 show.
Yeah, I never decided to tune in that one.
The internet, they made Lita a heel. There's no one. They were trying to keep her a good guy. They were trying to keep her a babyface, but the internet made her a heel because they all knew about the Matt Hardy and Edge thing.
Right.
If it wasn't that, they wouldn't have been booing her. Then they were forced to make her into a heel.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's just, there you go. That was a whole big thing about how the internet influences a lot of what's going on. So why not use that to your advantage instead of just ignoring it? I don't get that either. I mean, that's just kind of stupid. I mean, I know we're only here for 2 hours a week basically, but that show is archived and it's hit every day by hundreds and even thousands of listeners that hit that thing every day until we do a new show, or you do a new show, or whoever. And a lot of these WWE performers don't get to be on there because of WWE officials saying no. And I just don't get why they're saying no.
I contacted a WWE wrestler to be on here, and he wanted to do it. And he said he had to clear it through WWE.
Exactly.
And, they turned me down.
Did you guys ever get a chance to hear our Jim Ross interview?
Yeah, I saw that on the...
There you go. There's a prime example of what happened.
And that interview was done at like 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
We were the first, and see, that's the way, I don't know if you guys know this, I'll spill the hype here for the WWE company. What they do is they have what they call a pay-per-view schedule. And let's say, what's the next we'll just use SummerSlam. Okay, SummerSlam is coming up. Okay, Great American Bash, even better. Great American Bash is coming up. If you're a wrestling radio show on FM or AM radio, what you have to do is submit the name of your show, how much or how big your listening audience is, what your format is, where you're located, and you have to do it on company letterhead. Well, I just happen to work at a real radio station, and that's my real job. So the forgery of all that was easy to do. So I sent that to the WWE and told them that I was doing Wrestling News Live. Now, I never once said that Wrestling News Live was on that radio station. I just said that I worked there.
Right.
So I got a contact back, and they said, okay, you've been approved. You will be on the pay-per-view schedule. Jim Ross will be doing, we'll say Great American Bash. Jim Ross will be doing interviews to promote the Great American Bash. And they start at 7:30. You get 15 minutes, and they run in 15-minute intervals for every different show for like 4 hours.
Yeah, and 4 hours. Yeah.
And
that's it.
The first person that gets that email from the WWE that replies with, I want this time for Wrestling News Live, that's the time that's booked for Jim Ross. Now, when we got the email saying that we were approved, they had already gotten all their time slots full, so they added one for us. But instead of adding it at the end of the day, they added the son of a bitch at the beginning of the day, which meant 7:30 in the morning.
Right.
Now, Trey and JSK are not morning people by any stretch of the imagination.
Sometimes not even going to bed until 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah, so especially if we've been out drinking the night before, and Jim Ross comes on the show, and we asked him some questions, blah, blah, blah. The night before Jim Ross was on our show, ESPN and Fox Sports on television report that Brock Lesnar's ready to leave the company so he can go play football in the NFL. So, who's the best person in the WWE to ask?
Yeah.
The guy that's in charge of the talent.
Right.
Jim Ross.
And so we no more than asked that question, and that bitch cut in and said, guys, we're not going to talk about that. We're here to promote SmackDown. We weren't even there to talk about SmackDown. We were there to talk about WrestleMania, because that's what it was for. And she was an intern. And I guess Jim Ross said, no, that's okay, I'll answer the question. And then they answered it. And then immediately following the interview, I got an email saying that our relationship with the WWE had been terminated because we asked a dirt sheet tabloid question. But what's funny is if you go and listen to every other show that Jim Ross did that day, remember I told you there's like a 4-hour block of interviews the guy does. Every other show asked him the same exact question.
But because it was a wrestling show, you weren't supposed to ask it.
Oh, these were all other
wrestling shows.
Other wrestling shows that asked the question.
And they answered it without her breaking in, without the awkwardness of us having to feel like we fucked up on the air, they answered the question like it was no big deal. But because we were the first to ask it,
right,
we were blacklisted.
Yeah.
So then when I contacted the company and explained to them, look, here's what we said, here's what Jim Ross said, and here's what happened in the other interviews the rest of the day, they said, well, we'll get back to you. And I'm still waiting for them to get back to me.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Well, we had email contact with Tommy Dreamer telling us to leave him alone.
No, he didn't tell me that. He was very cordial with me.
We're just to leave that new Peter alone.
No Peter.
Tommy Dreamer would be a good guy.
Tommy Dreamer would be a good interview to get.
Yeah.
I would like to interview Tommy Dreamer.
Another big guest you had on recently would be Kid Cash.
Yeah, we did.
I got you guys a lot of mention.
Yeah. A little bit of publicity from that one.
Did you guys feel bad at all when he got fired? Or is it just,
no,
it was what he said, he decided to say it?
Well, we talked to Kid Cash. See, this is what a lot of people don't realize. Kid Cash contacted us. We didn't contact Kid Cash. Kid Cash contacted us and said, hey, look, I got things I want to say. I know you guys are pretty friendly with TNA. I would like to come on the show. And Adam Martin called me and said, hey, Kid Cash wants to come on the show. What do you think? We had Kid Cash on once about 2 years before that, and it was just a horrible interview. It was just...
Well, that's the one, we taped it while we were in Nashville.
No, not that one. The one after that Adam actually did the interview.
Oh, Adam did the interview. That's right.
And Kid Cash sounded like a tired wrestler that didn't want to be bothered, but didn't want to say fuck you and not do the interview. So it sounded very, very poor. And I was like, well, I don't know if I want to bring this guy back on. I don't like the guy to begin with, blah, 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 blah. So basically, he contacted us. We put him on. We had no idea
we
that he was
going to.
Yeah.
We even actually thought about it for a week before we actually.
I mean, we really contemplated whether or not we were going to do this interview. Looking back on it now, I'm glad we did.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Kid Cash was something that just kind of fell into our lap. But we'll take full credit for everything we asked and got the responses that it got.
Well, the way I feel about it is, I'm glad that we interviewed Kid Cash. I really did, because I personally we actually never really got to sit down and talk to him and about the way he felt about this company and things that were going on. Anybody that watched TNA knew that Kid Cash wasn't happy. It's not just because of the internet. This was everything out there in the news of wrestling. Kid Cash wasn't happy. And your question was, did I feel bad about it? Not really, because it sounds to me that's exactly what he wanted. And
I was going to ask you, do you think maybe that he was using your show, he could get on and...
yeah, that's exactly what I think.
He also
I
did
think that he was
interview was similar, too.
Yeah, well, the thing about do I think he used us to come on and do that? Yes, 100%. And the reason I'll say that, again, I didn't realize this until about 2 weeks. If you look at the timeline of when this took place, I'm not real sure date-wise what it was, but TNA had just come off of a pay-per-view, and they were getting ready to do another one. And actually, Adam stays pretty much in good contact with people from all companies, and more so WWE and TNA. He's got a guy inside the company that he can call and get information from. That's what makes him a good wrestling journalist. But he actually made a phone call on a Sunday night and found out that some of the TNA brass, I won't give out the names, but the TNA brass that's in charge of a lot of decision-making there, actually said, and I quote, we're going to go back to the hotel and listen to Wrestling News Live and get a feel for what people think of the pay-per-view.
Oh. So he wanted people to hear.
I'm thinking that if they're coming to listen to find out what we think of their pay-per-view, the talent, we know almost everybody in that company.
Right.
And I know that when they do listen, they don't listen live, and they might not listen to the whole show, but they will check it out periodically from time to time. And I think Kid Cash just said, you know what? I can go on this show, and everybody I want to shoot on is going to hear it.
Right.
And it's going to get back to the person that is in charge that has the power to fire me.
And I believe that everybody that worked at TNA heard that show. In one form or another. It might not have been when it happened or within a couple of days, but I guarantee you, over the span of a week, almost everybody in that company heard that show.
We did receive several, and when I say several, more than 10 phone calls from TNA talent saying, great job, guys. Thank you.
It wasn't that long before the ECW pay-per-view either, was it?
No, it wasn't. And that was a major thing that had been going down the news. You remember we told you on our show that TNA wrestlers were going to be allowed to work the Hardcore Homecoming and the WWE show, that they'd reached an agreement, all just to basically turn around and have to do a retraction on that statement, because within that week of, again, something that we said on our show, the next week it blew up and it was all over the news that TNA was for sure not allowing any of their talent to participate in any of the hardcore events.
Right.
So, yeah, I could see how a guy could say, you know what, I don't got
paycheck,
is about to be done with his contract. We discussed this last week. What's a guy going to do in the company? There was a pretty funny post on our message board where Bart actually said something about this, and I had to chime in, and just all I could do is laugh and say, that's probably a pretty true statement. But the guy doesn't do anything right now. They won't let him book. They won't let him be on camera. They won't let him manage anybody. What the fuck does the guy do there? He doesn't do anything but answer phones, maybe.
Yeah. I think they just want to keep him under contract so he doesn't work for someone else.
But
they don't
the thing is,
they don't like him, but they don't want him to be anywhere else.
That's all fine and good for the last however many years he's worked under that contract. But now there's going to be a new contract signing. The ball is now in Paul Heyman's court. He can either take their shut-up money to shut up and sit there and work for their company, or he can turn down no matter what the offer. He can turn it down and move on.
And go and do something that he really wants to do.
But by the same token, by saying that, you've now noticed, and Jack just mentioned it, that they're bringing in all these ECW guys.
Right.
1 by 1 and 2 by 2 like Noah's Ark.
Right.
What's going to happen? Are they going to try to put something together? Or, it doesn't make sense to sign all these ECW guys and then let Paul Heyman, who's the most important and can probably do the most damage to you outside of your company, slip through your fingers.
Right.
Well, they could just be cock-blocking Paul Heyman. They want to get his ECW talent on the roster so he can't get them if he leaves.
Exactly. Very good point.
TNA or to another upstart place.
I don't think Paul Heyman is going to want to financially begin a company on his own. I know he's got a few things in line with television, screenplays, stuff like that. But when Dixie Carter, who doesn't know a thing about the business, says, I know who Paul Heyman is, and Paul Heyman would be a welcome attribute to TNA, trust me, not only does Dixie Carter know who he is, but a Spike TV knows who he is.
Yeah.
And when you've got what you did with ECW on your resume, it failed eventually because it was bought out and all the bankruptcy and all the bullshit that's gone on. But the thing about ECW, and I'm not trying to draw a huge comparison, but like Wrestling News Live, we started out just the two of us with a fucking headset in a 2-bedroom apartment broadcasting on a computer. Now we've upgraded. We've got the listener numbers that we get. Fucking hey, we're guests on In Your Head.
Hey, you can't beat that one.
But I don't know that we are the best there is out there. But you know what? People out there know who we are. People in the business know who we are. Like us or hate us. You've heard of us. And ECW is the same way.
Of course.
Spike TV will know who Paul Heyman is because they dealt with each other back in the ECW days. Spike TV knows that he's going to put out a product that people are going to want to see if he can get involved in writing it. It's all leverage as far as TNA is concerned to get a network deal.
I mean, you can't blame Spike TV for what they did.
Cool among the wrestling fans if Paul Heyman was there.
Oh, yeah, huge. It would be huge because now we said this probably 2 years ago, I guess, we said the best thing that could happen to TNA would be Paul Heyman.
Right.
And the thing about it is, Paul Heyman, like Barb said, has a working relationship already at one point with Spike TV. And you can't blame Spike TV for the fact that they had ECW on their programming. They had a chance to bring in WWE, so that's what they did. And that's a good business decision.
Right, it was the main.
That's you can't say there's got to be a no love lost thing there. You got to say, look, sorry, but this is just business. It's not personal. But now WWE has basically given the proverbial finger to Spike TV and said, now we're taking our ball and we're going over to USA. What better way to pay back a debt for screwing a guy up in the past? Well, give him a job now. And if Paul Heyman was with TNA today, they'd be on TV, I promise you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They'd have a much bigger fan base, too.
Oh, yeah, you're going to triple that fan base instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Does Paul Heyman work within a booking committee, though? Which is what TNA's implemented recently.
I think the people that are on that booking committee now, and I don't remember everybody's name, I want to say Borash, D'Amore, Tenay. Those are all the kind of guys that are going to go, you know what? We just added a Pedro Martinez, or until this year, a Randy Johnson to our roster. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and make him the ace, and we'll pitch every 5th day, and we'll work as a unit and make this happen.
Right.
Well, Scott D'Amore's going out on TV. He's getting his shirt ripped off. He's not in tremendous shape. He's got no problem with being made a fool of on camera. I can't see him having too huge an ego when it comes to doing backstage.
But he's got a great mind for the business, too.
Absolutely. I think he'd be very receptive to Paul Heyman's ideas.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly.
Those two would work well together. You want to talk about heat between two individuals, Paul Heyman and Scott D'Amore. I mean, that would be a great on-air.
That would be a great on, and you know, that would be as good as Jimmy Hart with the Naturals right now is. Mm-hmm. If you think about this is how sad the wrestling business has become. Maybe it's just me, I don't know, but I've always been a big fan of the factions, the groups,
right.
the strength in numbers, you know. And right now, the only one you have is Team Canada.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That is it. So the best thing they could do is bring in a Paul Heyman, put him on the writing committee, let him get his ideas out there on TV, but also cash in on the fact that the guy is a great on-air personality and have him build his own faction to go against Team Canada.
They have the ECW DVD out, The Rise and Fall, the ECW pay-per-view. The guy's been all over WWE TV, and they promoted the ECW and Paul Heyman. It would be a perfect time to put him on TNA TV if they could get him.
Oh, strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Plus, with Paul Heyman's popularity in the wrestling business, anybody you put with him is automatically going to be brought up to a next level.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And who's to say that Brock Lesnar doesn't win his lawsuit and doesn't have to worry about this no-compete clause, and Paul Heyman can reunite with Brock Lesnar on TNA?
That would be tremendous for TNA.
Yeah.
If they could get somebody like that, because he's young still.
Oh, yeah, that's
not like a lot of guys, you know, like I like Sting and Goldberg and stuff, but, you know, their best days are behind them.
Oh, exactly.
And TNA doesn't necessarily put a lot of restrictions on their talent as far as in-ring work goes, which would add another dimension to Brock Lesnar's.
They definitely call all of their matches in the ring. Those guys are working out before with each other. They know which match they're going to be in. So the guys that are in the match, they work together before they even go on.
You've got all week to prepare. And the thing about it is, remember when we were talking about this a few months back or a month back when we said that TNA was going to go to WGN? They had the greatest idea for a format. They had, I mean, I'm not a big fan of pre-recording anything as far as, you know, SmackDown. I hate knowing what's going to happen before.
Right.
The thing about it is, if you have to do that for financial reasons, then I understand. The WWE doesn't. They don't have to do anything for financial reasons. But for a company like TNA to do a live 2-hour show and then immediately tape next week's 2-hour show and then get back together 2 weeks later, do a live show, tape the next live show, or tape the next week's show, that works out great for your talent because they're getting 2 paydays in one day.
Right.
And that leaves 6 other days for them to do whatever in the hell they've got to do.
Because Brock, that's a big thing about him. He doesn't want to be on the road all the time. And he could just work, if he wants to, just once every 2 weeks or whatever.
And we're not even talking the same kind of road. I mean, TNA is in one building, one place, one time, every time.
Exactly, right.
As far as I know, Sable lives in Florida.
Yeah.
Geographically, it'd be good for him as well.
Yeah. I just want to know how much Sable's influence had on Brock Lesnar's decision-making.
Well, I think her draining his bank account probably has a lot to do with him wanting to come back.
To fix her rack, puncture a packet.
Well, she's probably had 3 other plastic surgeries since Brock was the WWE champion.
Oh, yeah.
And Johnny B. Good, he isn't
That
good
gets a little...
anymore.
See.
What happened to Johnny B. Bad? He was
Johnny
on
B.
TNA
Bad.
for a little while.
Johnny B. Bad was on TNA and then just disappeared.
Yeah. He
I wasn't entirely upset.
Maybe 3 appearances, I think, and then poof, he was gone.
See, Barb, I would think that you would have a great fondness for Johnny B. Bad.
Right.
See, now, he's stealing my gimmick for a start.
True. Did you ever hear the show where we actually talked about you on the show?
A young Chris Jericho.
Yeah, you look like a young Chris Jericho. Has anybody ever told you that?
Many people.
Okay. I said that.
Too.
I said that. I just didn't want to, be the only one to have said that, or I wanted to know if I had been the only one to ever say that.
I've also got some Carlito references, which,
Wow.
You stick your finger in the electric socket or something?
I want an afro. I just got my hair's too long for it.
Another similarity between Barb and Johnny B. Bad is he shot his bad blaster and into his face a few times. Son of a bitch. So I've heard.
And he uses a much better eyeliner.
No, I saw an interview with Johnny B. Bad.
Revlon, baby.
And he admitted
When was that, 1974?
Not black. He said he's a New York Jewish guy.
Well, Muhammad Hassan isn't a towelhead either.
No.
He's Italian.
Oh, there we go. There's somebody we haven't pissed off. The Iraqis.
Oh, no, we pissed them off. I've called
We're huge in Iraq.
Yeah, I hear that In Your Head Online is like the #1 site in Iraq.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Next week is Osama bin Laden right here on In Your Head.
I don't know how I feel about
I think
that.
that's what Hussein was listening to when they found him in that hole.
Yeah.
Well, that's because his iPod was on the fritz. I tell you, if you could promise Saddam Hussein some Fritos and Cheetos and Doritos, you might have a show. He'd probably come to it live in studio. He ain't got nothing else booked right now.
If you're listening, contact me at jackisbackbrother@hotmail.com. We'll have you on the show.
That's
I'm
right.
gonna get a little heat now and say that if we had Osama bin Laden on live from his cave, we'd still have better audio than other shows.
Damn.
That's pretty damn good, Barb.
Pretty damn good.
What'd you guys think of the end of Raw last night?
Oh, that was great.
I liked it.
That was the only thing that kept me from falling asleep.
It was like the white spot on the top of chicken shit.
I love the entire show.
Still shit, but it made for a much better evening.
That's something we haven't seen for a while. It used to happen all the time. Is Hulk Hogan's partner would always turn on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I think the only person who never did was Edge.
Be a man, Hogan.
See, and Hogan was doing all those poses, all his poses and everything. I was thinking in my head, would it kill him to do just one of Shawn's poses? And then he said,
Yes. It probably would break his hip in half.
I don't know if I want to see Hogan dancing around the ring like Michaels.
I don't know that if Hogan got down on both knees and raised his arms up to the sky, if he could get back up before the allotted 2-hour time period. So I don't know.
oh, knocking Hogan.
I think
Hulk
that's
Hogan
gonna be a
versus
good
the Iron
feud.
Sheik in never the top rope match.
Because you
That
got
could last for a while.
you got two big, huge stars who they've never wrestled each other. Plus, Michaels is a guy who can really make Hogan look good. So
Yeah, it's all about the money.
ring.
I don't know. Like somebody posted in our forums board, it's, when they did the tag team matches with Michaels and Hogan, Michaels carried the match. You didn't see Hogan really do a whole lot. I mean,
Right.
if you did, and to put him in the ring with Hogan, I mean, we watched Shawn Michaels matches, that last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, how's this going to look, Shawn Michaels Hogan, 3 minutes?
No, I think it'll be a longer
got
match.
left in him is 3
I
minutes.
think Hogan can pretty much just kind of stand there, and Michaels can just bump off him. He can run around the
man.
ring. Hogan stick his boot up. He can take a big
How is
bump.
that going to make for a good match? I just don't get it. How's that going to...
I've never seen a good match from Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
exactly.
The Rock versus
Oh,
Hulk
now.
Hogan.
I know that it's going to be all played up as that Shawn is jealous of Hogan. That's going to be the storyline. But how are they really going to make this a feud? I mean, what are they going to say? What's Shawn's reasoning going to be? You think it's going to be the jealousy thing?
Just him trying to steal the spotlight, I think.
I don't know.
That doesn't hold too much water
I'll
when
say though,
Shawn keeps bringing him in.
Hogan
Yeah,
always
Shawn-
had good matches with Flair.
But it doesn't make sense. Like Marv said, Shawn is the one that keeps bringing Hogan back out.
Maybe it was in his master plan the whole time. To double cross.
To bring him back in to get him ring shape so he could go against him or something. Hell,
At Hogan at his best.
Then we're going to find out that Shawn Michaels actually slept with Brooke Hogan.
That was kind of weird, that little segment about Hogan's knows best.
Have you had an age test?
You didn't.
I mean,
you didn't.
What? I don't think
you didn't
any
hear-
dad would want their 16-year-old daughter dating a 22-year-old guy.
Well, you didn't hear Kurt Angle go off on Brooke Hogan like he did on Charmel. Now that could have been creepy.
That's what I thought he was going to come out there and call her the gutter slut.
Yeah. I want to pull her hair while I'm doing her from behind and choke her with a zip tie.
yeah.
Which would be perfectly legal if she was over here.
I don't think it's going to do Brooke Hogan's career any good, though. Being part of this thing.
Yeah.
I think they
I wanna
can
make her
up on
cat
her
house.
ever being a big singer.
I don't know that I've heard her sing anything but the national anthem.
Yeah.
Her and her dad was supposed to come to my mall, and they never showed. Bastard.
Enter, you've got your own mall?
Yeah.
What the fuck do you sell there?
Underwear that he's worn.
He just kind of hangs out with a trench coat.
And the school children come off the
The
bus.
16-year-old blonde girls.
Enter, I picture you as the kind of guy that has your own silent mob, you know?
A lynch mob,
I
maybe.
think Incher's more of the silent Bob. Bob's
Yeah,
more of
I
the...
think Incher's more of the silent Bob.
you can see Barb as Jay.
You said something about Angle and Ric Flair. I know that we didn't touch on this.
That was a great match.
I wanted to give out the fact that Ric Flair was Ric Flair of old. That was probably one of the best matches I've seen in WWE
Oh, yeah.
in 2 years.
I just wish they would have had more
all-
build-up for it. That could have been a pay-per-view match.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a historic match.
you know what? Some of the best matches that you see don't have hype before them. That's just two guys that got in there and went. And you know that they talked to each other backstage and said, look, Flair, you were once one of the best. And Kurt's like, just give me the best that you got, and I'll give you the best that I got, and we can make a great match. And to me, that's exactly what happened. That was like I said, one of the best matches I've seen in a couple of years. A great.
Shawn Michaels versus Shelton Benjamin a few weeks back on Raw is a
That
good
was
example
good.
of that.
That was good also.
And you know something that really I wanted to talk to you guys about? What do you think about no Triple H, no Ric Flair, and no Shelton Benjamin on Raw?
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm always happy when Triple H isn't on. I like to
Yeah,
see
me
Flair
too.
on.
But does this set up? Are we going to get screwed over here? Is this going to be a Y2J versus John Cena for the belt, where Triple H weasels his way into it for a three-way before it's all said and done?
It's possible, or he'll probably fight the winner.
I don't
Who's
know.
left for Triple H to feud with now?
Cena?
Batista left.
Cena?
Yeah, eventually he'll get Cena's back.
Oh, I'm surprised it didn't happen Monday night.
That's what I was surprised about.
Just want to go back to the Angle match quick. Angle Flair.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have Flair out wrestle Angle because that's not very realistic. They really played up the dirtiest player in the game.
Exactly.
He did all the.
Flair had to do
the
everything
the
he
irate.
could just to stay in the match.
But see, the beauty of it was he told him beforehand that's what he was going to do. I'm letting you know right now.
Yeah, I'm going to bite your thumb, I'm going to pull your hair, I'm going to poke your eye out.
I'm going to fight you. I didn't come in here to wrestle. I'm going to fight you.
And JSK pumped like a 13-year-old boy at a Britney Spears concert when he fish hooked him.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
so
yeah,
cool. That was great. That was so classic Ric Flair. I'm seriously, it seemed like I was a kid watching Ric Flair again when I saw that match.
He was wetter than a busload of fat girls going to see Ricky Martin, I'm telling you.
See, there's a move that really takes no effort. You're not going to get hurt, and it gets a big pop from the crowd.
Right.
That was a great match. I mean, that was a WrestleMania main event type match right there.
Yes, it was.
That's why I wish it was on pay-per-view, so it would be on DVD on tape.
We're immortalized as being bigger than it really was.
Right.
And it might get a little more time on pay-per-view, which could only do it good.
Had quite a bit of time for a TV match.
It did.
Yeah, it did.
That's what I'm saying.
But it was so good you didn't realize at the time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The whole match was entertaining. There wasn't really a slow period. Even when they were doing the holds and the wrestling holds and stuff like that, they still made it entertaining. They still made it where you want it. Because there's a lot of those matches where they're sitting there doing that abdominal stretch or whatever, and you're fucking picking your nose or something.
Right.
You don't want to watch TV. But, I mean, they really made the whole match entertaining.
When Angle puts a hold on, he's kind of like Bret Hart, I think. It really makes it look like he's putting pressure on. It's not just two guys just laying there, and you can tell they're just wrestling.
I mean, if you look at the ankle lock, it doesn't it's pretty stupid. A pretty stupid hold.
Bullshit.
But it looks like he's gonna break your ankle.
Oh,
Yeah.
You can't break it.
Mm-hmm.
In his face.
Yeah, oh yeah.
His whole body.
The veins everywhere popping up.
One or two in his career, I guarantee you.
That's a match I always wanted to see. It was Ken Shamrock come back and say, "What are you doing my move for?"
Yeah.
Come on.
He always claims that Angle doesn't do it right.
Yeah.
Well, Angle turns the foot the other way.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a lefty, not a righty.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a sleeper hold on the ankle.
And the thing
That's
is,
right.
what makes Angles better is he can slap that son of a bitch on you no matter where he's at.
Oh, yeah.
He will.
And I do like the fact. I do like the fact that when it came down to it, he laid down on his back and really cinched it in on Flair to sell the fact that I really got this bitch latched on.
When he puts, like, the leg lace on.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Grapevine's the leg.
Do what?
Grapevine's the leg, I think.
Grapevine's the leg. That's it.
There's no crazy here.
That's right. That's right. You realize we've been on In Your Head for over an hour now?
Straight.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't even got into any of the questions yet.
Just like a Flair Angle match, time flies when you're heavily entertained.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I am the 60-minute man.
That's right.
One thing I did want to talk about, I wanted to get all of our opinions on this one at some point. TNA and WWE, if you were to put together 2 or 3 interpromotional matches that you'd like to see, what would they be?
I'd like to see Abyss take on Batista.
That'd be a good one.
That'd be fucking kick ass, dude. That'd be so kick ass.
I would like to see America's Most Wanted take on
Anybody the WWE
The Dudleys?
has to offer.
the Dudleys, probably.
Yeah.
Screw that. No.
thinking
I want to see them take on the team that we saw Monday night.
Kane and Big Show.
Kane and Big Show going against America's Most Wanted. Believe it or not, I think that tag team of Kane and Big Show could walk up to Rosie and Hurricane and just take the titles, slap them like bitches and take the titles, and then go on a several-month reign of, you know what, anybody...
Challenging all comers.
Challenge everybody. You put a team together, you come and take our belt. And that right there, that would be great. They could be one of the last devastating, big, huge men tag team champions.
I was just say we haven't had like a dominant tag team in quite a while. You know, like the Road Warriors tag team.
And they would, challenge anybody, even go over to SmackDown and challenge theirs.
I would like to see AJ Styles take on Christian.
That'd be it.
For a whose gimmick is whose match.
Yeah, Battle of the Road match.
I think in the ring, I think AJ Styles versus Benjamin would be a great match.
That would be a good match.
Now, I'd like to put Shelton Benjamin in there with Elix Skipper.
That would be another good one. That'd be another good one. Christopher Daniels, Rey Mysterio Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
I think Chris could bring something out of Ray that we haven't seen for a while.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The desire to actually put together a good match and not wait for the 619 so you can get a cheap pop and go back to back.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would take Ray back to his ECW days.
Abyss and Kane, to me, would be a great match.
Abyss
and Kane. Also, like I said, Abyss, Batista, Abyss, Kane. Both of those would be great.
Ric Flair, Jeff Jarrett could be a good one.
Ric Flair, Jeff Jarrett could be a good one.
Figure fours.
Yeah, we saw.
Yeah. Let's see, what else? She's not there anymore, but she never got a chance to really do much. I'd like to have seen a Trinity versus Victoria match.
Oh, definitely.
She's gone from TNA, Trinity?
Yeah, she asked for her release.
Oh,
she's gone.
Spending a lot of time with Kid Cash as well.
I don't know what she's doing WWE-wise. I know that she's down. I think she's down with Cash while he's at OVW, but I don't know if she's working. Yeah, that poor girl got the shit.
Trinity and Cash are a real-life couple?
I think so now.
Yeah, they were when we were there. It just wasn't open and out. I don't think. But they left together, and yeah.
You like beating her up.
Yeah. She's into that whole thing. She's the kind of girl Kurt Angle really needs to get with.
Right. That was somebody in Trinity. In early TNA, she was really popular. I never understood why they turned her heel.
Well, there wasn't ever any women to really wrestle.
Yeah, they cut out that whole women's division. I touched on that Sunday on our show. They cut out the whole women's division. They just filtered it out.
Oh, I got one for you. AJ Styles and Kurt Angle.
I was going to say Kurt Angle and Christopher Daniels, but I can go AJ Styles. I think her name, Christopher Daniels, work well.
Yeah.
I really do.
I would be curious to see Shawn Michaels versus Michael Shane at some point.
That'd be all right.
Yep.
That'd be a good storyline wise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Shane's good in the ring too.
And AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels. There
Yeah.
you go.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Styles versus anybody.
I was going to say that.
I mean, seriously, hey, put him over there.
Did you guys notice how they crammed the whole Rene Dupree phenomenal thing down our throats last night?
What was up with the mustache?
Phenomenal.
I am now in love with Rene Dupree.
I figured you would.
The facial hair, that robe.
I'm not facial hair. That is weird.
What did you call him last night? The Pepe Le Pew of the WWE?
Pepe Le Pew of the WWE. There you go.
I actually think
That'd be
he
a good
could be a
gimmick.
heel. He's just a natural heel. People want to hate
Mm-hmm.
him.
Well, look at him.
Speaking of heels, God help Chavo Guerrero. Oh, my.
Oh, what the hell was that?
The Carlton Banks of the WWE.
Yeah, Carlton Banks. Yeah, no shit.
Curran White. See, no one kind of like that.
I guess since they have the Mexicools, they want to turn some of the Mexicans that are there already.
Well, they're really
like get away from being
about us
Mexican.
pissing people off.
Yeah, really.
The WWE has really dropped. They have dropped trout, and for the sake of you in your head listeners that are waiting for this, they have donkey punched the Mexican public.
Yes.
Chavo has denounced his race, and you've got the Mexicools.
Who thought of that name? It sounds like something a 12-year-old kid would have thought of, the Mexicools.
Oh, man. Carrot Top, I guess. I don't know. Come on, the Mexicools?
The sad thing is, all three of them are really good wrestlers.
Come to Taco Bell this week and get your Happy Meal with a Mexicool action figure.
Michelle McCool might have made up that name.
Ah.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, we had the return of the Diva Search Monday as well. Do you think the Diva Search could go any longer?
Did you guys notice the chick that busted her ass last night?
Oh.
Yeah.
That was classic.
The one had her ass hanging out the whole time.
Yeah, that was great.
That was awesome.
The bikini top came off.
Yeah, they
Well, that was
stopped the other
planned.
one,
He
though.
had
with the
patience.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She pulled a Janet Jackson on.
I don't like playing nip slips. I like them real.
That's right. I want my nip slips to be legitimate. But that was planned, and you could tell it was planned. Now, the first chick that actually looks like she could probably go in the ring.
Yeah.
But wears the hat. Yeah, she wears the hat all the time.
Yeah.
She's hot. She looks tough. She looks like she could wrestle. She looks athletic. And she did the whole obstacle course with her shorts fucking around her ass.
I love that.
He seems to be the one they're kind of pushing to win. They kind of seem to mention
No, I
him more
don't
than
know.
the
The
others.
girl that completed it the fastest, she fucking was on it. She was good.
Oh,
And
yeah.
my partner here thinks that she might have been Miss Oklahoma.
Huh.
Yeah,
Did you notice almost all of them
That's
have
tough
been in
competition.
movies or on TV shows?
Yeah, all of them have been some type of, yeah.
And the chick, the Simona or whatever, she looks like she should be a porn star.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt if any of them been in some porn movies.
And then you've got the Coke whore
Okay.
that seems to go last in every competition.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she's dropped the bitch gimmick this week because it didn't go
Yeah, I
well the last
noticed
time.
that.
Right.
I
And
kind
now she's all hopping around.
of thought maybe she was an angle. They just kind of put her in there the way she was acting.
Maybe her true angle is she's bipolar.
Biopolar?
Bio. That's how they say it in West Virginia.
Oh,
She's the female version of Jack.
it's like drink driving. It's how you.
I guess that's how they say it in some countries.
I didn't realize that.
Me neither.
You learn something new every day on Wrestling News Live.
Right.
It might not be something you can use in everyday life, but you're gonna learn something anyway.
Yeah, this
You
is
might want
in
to
your
point
head.
out at this juncture that you're on In Your Head,
Yeah.
which you can find at www.inyourheadonline.com.
I was talking about our
Man,
message board. Jack and I were talking about the message board.
Mm-hmm.
It's at audiowrestling.com.
Yeah.
You can interact with all.
If you didn't know.
All this interact.
Where are we?
Other shows, we actually post on the message board.
Mm-hmm.
We have time for our fans.
Yep.
Not like a
We actually have posts on our message board.
Hey,
It helps to actually have them.
well, it helps to have posts on your board, and it helps, like we're pretty interactive with our fans too.
That's what I
Mhm.
meant.
You know,
both
so
our shows.
yeah. So yeah, we try to. We're for the fans by the fans.
That's been the slogan the whole 5+ years we've been doing it.
Right. We're for the slackers by the slackers.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
What other questions do you have, Barb? You said you had a whole list.
I have some questions, some from the fans.
Well, while you look him up, I just wanted to mention about the Shelton Benjamin thing. You said he wasn't on Raw. I think that guy is so good in the ring. I don't know why the fans have been turning on him lately.
Because he can't talk on the mic.
He's not really good on the mic.
Yeah. And they keep trying to let him talk, and he keeps making it worse.
Yeah.
He suffers from the same affliction as an AJ Styles.
Yes.
I don't know. I think he's even worse.
Bad as Shelton.
Yeah, I just think I never thought AJ was that bad. I know a lot of people do online. I just think he's
AJ.
okay.
You can see though how AJ has gotten better. You can't see how Shelton has improved.
I think AJ's just a little shy, kind of. I don't think he's bad. I think Shelton is actually really bad when he talks.
Yeah,
I've talked to AJ. You know, I've hung out with him basically, and he is the shy type person. Even when he's out amongst his friends, he doesn't really talk that much. He'll stay
kind of a wallflower.
Kind of to himself and really observe what's going on. He is that type of person. He is kind of shy, I would say.
I think part of AJ's problem is that he doesn't get that much of a chance to talk.
No, he really doesn't.
Well,
it seems whoever's booking for him is a bit ashamed of the accent.
When you're that good in the ring, why do you need to talk? Back in the day, the good wrestlers hardly talked shit at all. They just went in there, kicked your ass, and you knew it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know.
But today's times, they are a-changing.
Yeah. Everybody has to be able to
talk now.
do stick.
And if you want to sell that merchandise, baby, you got to have a catchphrase.
Yeah. Got to have a catchphrase.
All right, so you got some questions from the message board, Barb?
Uh-huh. The Flea wants to know why it's so difficult to get a good Genoa salami these days.
Genoa salami.
Genoa. Shut up, I know how it's pronounced. It's in Europe.
You don't have to ask all the questions that's on our message board.
I just thought this was a cute question, so I'm asking.
I'm not really a big fan of that. I mean, it's pretty good. Me personally, my question would be, why is it really hard to get a good pastrami?
There you go.
Because you can't really find good fucking pastrami anywhere.
You got to get the red pastrami with black pepper.
Yeah. Good. The real pastrami, the fresh deli slice, the good shit.
All right.
Now I've got some Milan salami in the fridge.
Well, send it on now.
No. Wow, this is the greatest salami I've tasted in all of my life.
Hey, where are you going? I'm going to go get online right now and get all 4 flavors.
Of salami.
As I was reading Salami Magazine.
There's a question for Trey
I'll
Dog.
post some pics of Jack salami later on.
Please don't. Question for Trey is it true you actually own a copy of the Triple H DVD titled The Game?
I did at one point, yes.
Yeah, you did.
I did buy the DVD, and I sold it like a month after I bought it.
Was that from Adam Martin?
It had to be.
I think it was,
that question. Where'd you find that guy?
Where did we find Adam?
In a dumpster somewhere?
Actually, several years ago, when Wrestling News Live had been stolen, we decided that we would try to come back and do a show again and compete with Wrestling News Live and kill what we created was the old plan.
Yeah.
Frankenstein monster.
Yeah.
We were injecting venom poison.
That's right. So, back when we were on Fancast, we decided to do a show called Real Audio Wrestling that the band came up with, and we started doing that. The very first call we took on our very first show, it was me and the band. JSK was still in Missouri, and I was in Oklahoma. We didn't have JSK on the show then. I took a phone call for Adam Martin, and the guy actually knew what he was talking about. And so we talked for the entire show, and after the show was over, I said, hey, look, we need a third host. Would you be interested? And he said, well, I'm kind of busy with WrestleView.com, but I'll try. And now every week, we give him new shit to do.
He's like the straight man of the show.
Yes, you got to have it.
A lot of people don't realize that during that whole time that Wrestling News Live wasn't ours, I actually appeared on that show twice.
Oh, as a guest or just calling?
I called into the show. a couple of times when it was still on Fancast, and you can do that. I was dating this really hot Pearson chick, and she had a computer, and I was like, well, check out what I used to do. And I went and checked it out, and they were doing.
See, the way that this all went down, the way that this all happened is that we were living in Missouri, and I got a job in Oklahoma, back where I'm from, And when I moved back to Oklahoma to take this job, I took my things with me, and the computer that we did the show on was mine. And we thought we would try to continue to do the show, but there's a big difference in Wrestling News Live, what it does and what it's about today, as opposed to what it was when we were just on Fancast. Fancast was just a hobby for the Fancast listeners. We had no dreams, no aspirations of ever really interviewing anybody, ever becoming a legitimate wrestling radio show. And not that we are now, but you know what? We're known. We're pretty close. We're out there. Everybody knows who we are. But back then it was just for fun. And when it came time to separate business from fun, I had to do what I had to do to pay my bills. And I worked way too much to keep up with the show. And when I did that, some people that we had brought in that actually started out as listeners, we brought them in so they could help us out. They wanted to do a Thursday night version of the show, and we thought, you know what, that's great. JSK and I on Mondays, you two on Thursdays. I was paying for it all, and I said, that'll give us 2 shows to cover 2 different wrestling shows, Raw and SmackDown. It'll be different. You guys will have your own style. We'll have our own style, of course, and let's see how it goes. And when I went back to Oklahoma, they decided that they would lock me out and change the password to all of my accounts. And then they, instead of just doing their own show and growing a pair of balls and calling it something brand new, they decided they'd steal the name Wrestling News Live that JSK and I came up with. And so that's how that all started.
That sucks, especially since they were friends of yours and listeners.
Yeah, I mean, they were listeners that really helped out with promoting the show in chat rooms and message boards, and we spoke a lot throughout the day and during the week. Here's what we're going to talk about. Let's try to do this. Let's try to do that. And we brought them in, gave them the password to the account so they could do the Thursday night version of Wrestling News Live, and then they got greedy and they changed the password and told us that we were fired. We were no longer a part of what we created. So when we came up with the idea of Real Audio Wrestling, it was to put Wrestling News Live out of business, which we did put their version out of business, and then we just took the name back because it was what we created.
Oh, okay.
And there's the dirt.
There's the dirt.
There's how we came by Adam Martin.
And that's how we came through and got Adam Martin.
We did find him in a dump.
All right.
Yeah.
Adam Martin's a good guy. I've talked to him a couple times.
He's a great guy, man. Especially for you guys now, you know what it takes to do this. I mean, that's the thing. That's what's funny to me about a lot of these shows that are starting out these days. I could tell because of you guys, and don't take this the wrong way, but because of your passion for being on the message board, and you can tell who's got the time and who's got the desire to do something like this.
As opposed to who just wants to do it to hear their head rattle.
Right, and to say, hey, I've got a wrestling show. Right. I tell people all the time, and I mean this is that the Enterprise?
Yeah, that would be my phone.
A lot of times people don't realize what kind of work this is, and especially for guys like you doing In Your Head and these other idiots that are recording their show. It's a lot harder to record these, edit them, and put them together, and then put them on a website, as it is to just do it live, record what you say live, and post that.
Right.
I'm a big fan of the live format. I want to have the listener interaction with the chat room, with the message boards. I like the live format. Recording, we've done the recording version for about 6 months to a year. We recorded every show and posted it like that. And if I didn't have an understanding fiance, I would be single, because there are a lot of times where I would have been up till 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning still editing what we recorded that night just so we could get it on the air as soon as possible. And then
that's how I can feel.
You factor in trying to schedule guests.
Yeah.
People don't understand how hard that shit is, because you can make a phone call, you can talk to the superstar, they can tell you for sure I will be there, and then it's time to record and they don't show up, and then everything you just planned goes right down the shitter.
Exactly. I know about that.
So,
one of our most infamous shows, the Brian Alvarez no-show show.
Yeah, we had Jerry Lynn. It was like 3 weeks in a row that it wasn't Jerry Lynn's fault, but the guy just had some unreal shit happen in his personal life.
That was.
Right.
His truck broke down, and he got stranded in the mountains and had to have somebody come pick him up. Then he was supposed to come on at 6 o'clock one night and was literally at the mechanic haggling about the price.
Yeah, because the mechanic was trying to screw him.
The mechanic was trying to screw him on his truck. It was just a whole bunch of shit. And that does happen. And that's okay.
That's real life.
Exactly.
You know, but then you factor in the time of night that we're on the air. It's real hard to get people to get on this show that time of night.
Right.
You know, and it's just these internet shows, people think just because you have a monitor and a headset, you're going to be the next Between the Ropes or Get in the Ring or Wrestling News Live or In Your Head, and it's just not that easy. And I wish that I could be a fly on the wall when they finally realize what the hell have I gotten myself into. Because there's been a few times where we've said, look, we've just got to take a break. We have got to stop doing this every week. And it's to the point now where we can't afford to do that because of the amount of listeners we get.
Right.
You know, people, for some reason, I don't know why, but God bless their hearts, depend and look forward to Wrestling News Live on Sundays. I'm not real sure why, but thank you, you know.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
But then it comes a point where you have to say, you know what, we're doing it for the fans. I can sit here and talk to JSK about wrestling any day of the week. But the fact that I know there are people out there on Sundays that take 2 to 3 hours out of their personal lives to hear what the fuck I've got to say, that means the world to me, and I love it.
I do, yeah, me too.
The fact that we record the show, it certainly gives us a little more leniency on times we can do it and whatnot to schedule it for the wrestlers. But there have been times when I've had to stay up and awake until 6 o'clock in the morning to interview people or just to do a recap show.
Everybody knows Barb's 5 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say there's a big time difference where you're at.
It's 10:30 at night where Barb is.
11:30.
11:30?
Yeah, we're an hour ahead of you guys.
5 hours ahead each.
It's 5:30 here in just today.
Sometimes it takes Central a long time to put the show together as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, the editing aspect of it, you think, well, if you do your job, what's to edit? No. No, there's editing that has to be involved in this shit, and that's what takes forever is when you have to actually sit down to piece things together. You know, we recorded ours in segments, okay? This is what we talked about last segment. Let's take it like we're coming back from a break, and it was actually 2 days later.
Yeah.
You know? What the fuck were we talking about that for? We didn't cover that in the first segment. Then you have to go back and dub something in so you look like you actually know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, our Poffo show when we had Lanny Poffo and the Phantom. I think we recorded the Phantom part first, and then we recorded the Poffo part, and then I think we just recorded ourselves and we mixed it all around.
And that takes a lot of time.
A lot of time.
And most people are going to know, but originally I was not one of the hosts of In Your Head. Originally I was just a guest.
Right.
You are.
The first show came around, the first part was recorded, and it was 2 weeks before they could actually get a hold of me to record. So they were discussing SmackDown spoilers 2 weeks beforehand on the show.
That's awesome.
That was.
And I want to say that I don't want anybody that's out there that's starting a new show to think, oh, well, now look at you guys, you think you're better than everybody. No, it's not that by any means. And I said this in the message board on our site. Look, I remember what it was like when we first started out. Those first, the first month of episodes, it was more like, let's talk, see how long we can talk, and see how many people will actually stay and listen. Mm-hmm. And then it got to the point to where, 3 listeners turned into 6, and 6 turned into 12, and 12 turned into 25, and 25 turned into 50, and you're like, holy shit, we're onto something here. Something's working. I remember what it was like when we first started out, trying to get, not guests, but trying to get listeners.
We were actually trying to come up with material because there are a lot of the times during those first shows that we did, they were 3 and 4 hours long.
Oh, yeah.
And that was just, us trying to come up with enough material to keep us, a show together. And, of course, a lot of it had to do with the drinking, and the shit that you can talk about when you're drinking is just unreal. And because there's some things that you remember that you might not remember if you're not drinking. And so, yeah, there a lot of those shows were well over 3 and 4 hours long. And a lot of it was just a bunch of crap, and then you could take all that crap out and come up with a 2-hour show.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I figure as long as we have fun doing it, people seem to like it, then it's worth doing it.
Right, exactly. As long as you get some kind of interaction from it, then that definitely motivates me to keep going.
Oh, most definitely. If it wasn't for the listeners, we say this every show. Like I said earlier, we can talk to each other about everything involving wrestling. We don't have to do this, but the listeners are what make it worth doing for us.
Right.
I love being able to say something completely fucking stupid like Kurt Angle's no better than Teddy Long and see the reaction that I get out of saying something like that.
I think that was probably your best calling ever.
Yeah. Or going off on the 97 screw job and see how long and how everybody's just going nuts about shit like that.
I do like the signature, by the way.
You like that?
Yeah.
Wildcat Woman did most of that, and then I added some stuff to it.
Okay. Oh,
or maybe pretending you can't hear the caller when you're jealous of how young and beautiful he is.
Yeah.
On our gallery, we have some pictures done by Wildcat Woman.
Mm-hmm.
She's a trooper.
Yeah.
She's good at what she does.
Yep.
She's a big Barbie fan.
Well, who isn't?
Yeah, who wouldn't be a big Barbie fan?
It's a question.
No, that's the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Any more questions from the board, Barb?
I'm not beating off here. I'm packing some cigarettes. So go ahead, continue.
All right.
Thank God. Now this is a question for JSK.
Alrighty then.
According to some strong sources, you left the confines of a hotel room rented by TNA's Chris Harris and Triton in September of 2003, and then found yourself in another room, with a former TNA diva by the name of Lollipop. The question to you, Mr. JSK, is what exactly went on during that 15 to 30-minute time period while you were away?
This is when I can't help you here because this is when Harris and I went on the beer run.
I guess I can set this up a little bit. This is when a lot of the TNA wrestlers, we were doing something in Branson when we lived down there with Tracy Smothers. We were putting shows together, wrestling shows.
Now, can you imagine how cool those were when your booking committee was Tracy Smothers, JSK, and myself?
Exactly. And so we booked a lot of the TNA wrestlers at the time to come down and do our show so we could actually have a show. And it was great. We did this 2 or 3 times, and this is one of the particular times that we're talking about. Lollipop was one of the people that came down along with Chris Harris, Triton. We had a big crowd. I
want to say Harris, Lollipop, Triton were the only 3 that came to all 3 shows.
Yeah, no, well, you had the Naturals came.
The Naturals, yeah.
The Naturals came, and they had Trinity with them.
No, they had,
what's her name?
Chase's girlfriend.
Yeah.
What's her name? She was on TNA.
She was on TNA, and I can't.
Damn.
Well, that 2 years ago, and I had a lot of beers.
She's hot.
But to set up this whole thing, that was it. It was after the show. We were all hanging around drinking. There was a lot. I think Adam Martin was there with us. I know that that's a question from Adam Martin.
And Adam Martin doesn't drink.
And he doesn't drink.
We tried.
We tried to get him drinking, but I just wanted to. But we were all sitting, hanging out with Chris Harris and Triton. Just bullshit, talking about the show. And Lollipop happened to have the room right next to theirs. It was her and Christy Ricci, actually, that had the room. And
it was one bad bitch, by the way.
Yeah, Christy Ricci is pretty bad. I know I talk about her a lot throughout the week, but she is just a really cool chick. And I'm not going to I can neither confirm nor deny that anything happened in that room. That's just going to be my little secret. I'm not going to give everything away.
I know they were gone for a long enough period of time, bastards.
Well.
Because I know that Harris and I left the hotel room when we ran out of beer to go get more beer and to come back. And in that time frame, I paid for a cab to get Christy from Branson to Springfield.
I had to be on a plane in Springfield at 6 in the morning.
And for some reason, nobody that was in charge of our finances at the time with the company was around.
Trey Dogs for the cab.
So I sprung for a $100 cab ride to get her to Springfield so she could. So she could get to a plane so she could wrestle in Michigan.
Right.
Well, I got to say, JSK was the smarter of the two that night. You had Trey going out with Chris Harris, and JSK spent the night in a
Well, I'll say this.
Who's known for sucking on round objects.
I'll say this. We talked off air about this a little while ago. There's some things that JSK does that I don't. And so it was kind of the ones that did and the ones that didn't. And we'll leave it at that. It wasn't a sexual differential. It was just something totally different. And Adam, poor guy, sat on the fence because he doesn't even drink. I think he hung outside the motel room on the balcony by himself most of the night.
Yeah. And your girl
Jennifer was there, yeah. Oh, yeah, and plus my girlfriend was there.
So he couldn't do what JSK does anyway, now could he? No, I'm not going to say anything. I mean, there's just some things you don't talk about. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that anything happened or didn't happen. It's just the fact that, hey, just a couple of friends hanging out, And
you got to realize we're all pretty good friends with all those guys, and we don't get to see them near often enough, especially now with a move down to Orlando. And we moved to Springfield, so it's tough for us to get down there. I know that it's been said on our show with several guests. They all like, "When are you guys coming back down?" We want to. It's just a matter of our real jobs allowing us the time off to enjoy a vacation to Orlando.
Which do you think's better, the Orlando location or the Nashville?
Nashville, 100%.
Well, now I want to say I liked it better in Nashville. They could have gotten a better building in Nashville, but it was more personal in Nashville. Orlando, to me, almost seemed fake.
The Asylum and the fans in the Asylum were the closest thing TNA's ever had to ECW.
Exactly.
And the Asylum fans were all wrestling fans.
Yeah, the Asylum fans.
The
fans were TNA wrestling fans. The Orlando fans are people that are on a tour of Universal Studios that have a good 2-hour block in the day where they've got nothing else going on, and somebody says, "Here's 2 tickets to come see this show."
Right. And to me, that's nothing.
Put on this T-shirt and cheer when we tell you to cheer, boo when we tell you to boo.
Right.
That's why there's a big difference. And at this point in wrestling, the internet fans are so on top of everything. You can pick out the people that are there because they want to be and there because they have to be, or because they're, just getting free tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big difference.
I remember in Nashville, you could see a lot of the same fans there. The heel section was always there.
Right.
It's kind of like seeing the Hat Guy at in all those ECW shows.
Yeah.
Right.
And TNA had their own version of the hat. They had the Chicken Hat Guy.
Yeah. Well, they had the official heel guy.
Yeah, the heel
section. I remember the heel section.
They had the guy that started the heel section.
Yeah.
But
he's a really cool guy. He's a smart guy, too.
The thing is he changed his appearance there. I mean, at first he was just a straggly dude with the beard and the long hair and everything, and then he cut his hair, shaved his beard and everything.
Yeah. But JSK and I were at the Asylum several times, and every time we were there, we hung out back by the dancers' cages.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. And I'm not gonna lie. I was still pretty much next to the lollipop cage the whole time.
And it was cool to be back. It was cool to be backstage when they were taping, and to have the freedom to go backstage during the show was really cool too. So we just we never really had a place that we sat. We just kind of rotated around the whole place.
Actually, Dixie Carter, one time when I was there alone, she saw me standing, and she was like, "Hey," and she had like the second or third row on the
yeah.
Hey, come over here and sit with us, and I did for a little while, but to me, I like the fact of being able to move around and with a small place, you can actually stand anywhere in that place and just slow it down, have an eye level to everything that's going on in the ring. And if you position yourself in the right place every once in a while, AJ Styles can run by me and grab my arm for leverage to jump over some chairs to jump into the ring. I got real close to when Sting and Jarrett were having their thing. You can even see me on their...
Yeah, JSK and I have been on TV on TNA several times.
Yeah, but to be actually that close to the action and sitting in a chair you don't get to. So I moved around.
So people always ask us why we're TNA whores. It's because we have a personal relationship with a lot of the people in that company. They treated us nice. We've treated them nice. And it's just a good working relationship, something the WWE could have with internet wrestling shows if they weren't so stuck up and proud of themselves.
Exactly.
So now you're going to have to put a good word in their ears for us.
Oh, we will.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've sent TNA a few emails, and we've not...
Well, let me give you the scoop on that, fellas.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy for the last, 4 or 5 months. Yeah. Yeah, his name's Brad that did all the booking for radio shows, and he's no longer with the company.
Aha.
So now they've got a new guy, and we don't even know who it is right now. So we're on the same list as you, but the good thing about it is that we can make a phone call and make something happen. So if we can get in again, we'll tell them about you guys and see if we can help you out.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
We got an email here from Humongous, who's a friend of the show. He wants to know what your favorite in-your-head moment was.
My favorite in-your-head moment? Mine would be when you finally got the Phantom to come on the show, and you questioned him about what he said about you guys, and you played the clip at the beginning with the, evil Star Wars type sounding music.
That was played by Barbie.
That would be my favorite.
I'd have to say the same thing. That was pretty classic right there. I like the way...
I listened to it at work and had to come home and tell him to get on the computer just to check it out, because it was good for a great laugh.
I like things that you kind of catch people off guard, sort of like we do every once in a while.
Yeah.
I'll put that together.
Yeah,
nice work.
Put that together.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question for Humongous.
All right.
I'll
see if he's around.
If you could get in touch, if you could get in touch with the Crazy Hat Man, ask him if he's got any good Dale Earnhardt Jr. NASCAR memorabilia.
I don't think he does at the moment.
Okay.
But he gets new stuff all the time.
If you talk to Hugh, I know that he's hard for you to get a hold of.
Yeah, he's hard guy to talk to.
Yeah, he's a busy man. He's got that eBay store.
Right.
If you get in touch with him, tell him anytime he gets any Chiefs, Cardinals, or Dale Jr. gear, just to let me know. I'd love to get some stuff.
He's got a lot of Chiefs and Cardinals at the moment, mostly fitted hats.
Okay, well, I'm in the market for some new hats, as a matter of fact. So
he's only got about 55 of hats. He needs only about 500 more.
Yeah.
Send him all the hats you can.
Hugh's got plenty of hats too.
Cool.
Not just the red, white, and blue one.
Hey, actually, I think he said something, emailed me or something, that he had some really cool San Diego Charger stuff, and that's what I put.
Oh, there you go. A lot of Chargers.
We had C.W. Anderson on.
Charger Mark, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Have been ever since I was a wee lad back in Scotland. No. Ever since I was a kid, I've been a Charger fan. Way back in the Dan Fouts days. I know that's a little bit older than most of you people remember, but that's...
Definitely older than me.
We had C.W. Anderson on the show, and he talked about once competing in the Negro League. And Hugh emailed him trying to pimp off some merchandise.
Yeah? How'd that go?
It didn't go well. But,
no?
I mean, he didn't
said?
Yell at him or anything.
Yeah.
Well, he just said it was fun working for playing for the Negro League.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's what he said.
I do have probably the worst draft pick for the Chargers. I've got some Ryan Leaf jerseys on. I mean, Hugh has some Ryan Leaf jerseys.
Why don't you just go ahead and strike Max Dutton and mention
Well, Ryan Leaf has family members that I'm sure would want to get a hold of some of that.
Yeah.
I don't know, though.
One or two Ryan Leaf memorabilia things.
Someone emailed him and told them they collect the worst draft picks, and they bought one of those, and they were asking if he had Tony Mandrich, and there was a bunch of other guys. It was pretty funny.
I don't even know what sport we're talking about anymore.
Football.
American football.
Okay.
American football.
Yeah.
American
None of that
football.
soccer
That's my
stuff.
boy.
The NFL.
Yeah, you have to make that clear to Barbie. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make everything clear to Barbie.
He's across the big pond, so you got to give him a little bit more information.
He thinks football is that game where you kick the little round ball around.
Yeah.
Why would you call it football if you spend the majority of your time in hands?
And if someone actually scores a goal, they trample each other. The crowd kills themselves.
They shoot off pyros, but that's what the fans brought in.
Mm-hmm.
They throw flaming bags of shit to their favorite players.
They throw hot dogs at people.
Yes. The ones that weren't used in the hot dog eating contest that they seemed to think we wanted to see on ESPN all night last night.
Well, hey, you got
that's a new thing, is the eating contest.
I want to get JSK in that.
There's no way I can compete against that little Oriental guy. He can put away some hot dogs. I mean, he broke the record, 54, I think, 54 hot dogs.
That's unreal.
Usually there's this little Oriental guy always.
Kobayashi or Habiyashi.
Yeah, they got these giant guys.
Isn't the Kobayashi Maru, isn't that some kind of like Star Wars thing? Star Trek? Something like that?
Americans actually had a new guy come in. He was this really big, huge black guy that was going to be the American hopeful. he came in third place behind a woman.
And an old woman at that.
No, not the old.
No, not the old, the young girl.
The young girl.
Well, if you're in a contest to see who can put the most weenies in their mouth, I don't know that I want to go up against a woman.
Yeah.
I'd like to.
Well, his biceps can't enter these contests. He's somewhat of a ringer when it comes to these things.
Right.
I'd like to meet that woman, though.
What, the little Oriental girl? She actually plays second.
I think he's going more for the fact she put a weenie in her mouth.
What do you guys think about Viscera?
I think this is the biggest joke. If they're going to make him a ladies' man and put him in big fat PJs, shave off the mohawk.
And lose
Take
the contacts
out.
Yeah.
Lose the contacts.
Lose the steel teeth or whatever he's
Yeah, fix your grill.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean...
Then he'd be, Mark Henry.
Yeah.
You gotta lose all the gothic stuff.
Yeah.
Now that Lillian Garcia can act.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can. She was crying on cue.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said when I saw that. You got to give that girl credit. She's definitely a good actor. I give her that. She can cry.
I'd let her fake an orgasm.
No, she wouldn't have to fake with me.
She's hot though. She came. What's weird about Lillian Garcia? We were in Kansas. Was it Kansas City for Raw?
Yeah.
We were in Kansas City at Raw, and she walked all the way around. This is no bullshit. Walked all the way around the ring. We were at ringside. All the way around the ring, and walked right up to me and was like, "Hi, I'm Lillian Garcia. Who are you? How are you? Nice to meet you." Blah, blah, blah. And I looked at JSK, and I was like, what the fuck just happened here? What the hell was that all about? I'm doing great. How are you?
Now that I'm talking to Lillian Garcia.
Because she is really hot.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. But she did. She walked all the way around the ring after the show was over with, bypassed everybody that she walked by, and stopped and walked right up to us and was like, "Hi, I'm Lillian Garcia."
Pretty shallow when I said. I think that's what I said.
Yeah.
Do you know you guys from Wrestling News Live?
I don't know. We weren't wearing anything that said Wrestling News Live.
That was pretty early in the career, too.
That was about 3 or 4 years ago, so probably not. No.
Nice.
Yeah, either that or she.
See, now that was, and that's also during the days where you got to realize I am 6'8", and I got the big. For a 4 or 5 year stretch, everybody called me Kevin Nash.
If I had $1 for everybody that called him Kevin Nash, we could retire.
I mean, I've had people just stop dead in their tracks when we'd go to a wrestling event.
Like Vince Russo thought he was Kevin Nash at one point.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause when I went to a wrestling event, I always had the leather pants and I had the leather shirt. I went, had the hair down and everything, and I got more looks than most of the wrestlers did.
We got free food at McDonald's because they thought he was Tusk.
He could do with that now, I think.
I've had someone thought I was Mick Foley once.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I think that's because I wear a leather mask and a sock on my hand in public.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Right. No, we were
Nothing to do with the fact that he's a sweaty dude.
We were drive-through at McDonald's after a Raw. Actually, it might have been the same one in Kansas City. Oh, Oklahoma City, yeah. And they were like, "Oh my God, it's a test! Oh my God!" And we were
doing.
We're on. I was like, "We're on our way to our next event. Can we get some food?" And they were like, "Oh, it's on us. Here."
Did you have to sign anything?
No. We were at the drive-thru.
But everybody inside was looking out the drive-thru window. Everybody.
It was,
And we're in my beat-up Buick at the time.
Yeah, Ted and his entourage driving around in a
1985 Buick Skylark or whatever the fuck that thing was.
You ever do any wrestling?
I've been in the ring a few times. JSK's been there maybe once or twice, but
not actually. We haven't done any actual wrestling.
Not any wrestling.
Oh, okay.
I've been a referee for several shows, and I lost a tooth in a chair shot from Triton. So.
Oh man.
Yeah, he was swinging at Chris Harris and missed Harris. The spot was he was going to hit me, but he hit me.
I've done announcing. I've done some run-ins. I've done stuff like that. Not really anything. I like watching other people slam Trey around.
Yeah, that was. I've taken some bumps. I've taken some bumps from Chase Stevens and Triton, and got the chair shot. In the middle part of a chair where the hinge is.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He swung to hit Harris. The plan was he was going to swing and hit me, missing Chris Harris. And it was the main event of one of our shows. And he missed, and that hinge caught me right on the jaw and knocked out a tooth.
Man.
So
Well, we've had you on here for quite a while, so we probably should let you go pretty soon.
Yeah, well, this is going to turn into a 2-hour interview, so.
Anything you guys want to let your fans know before you leave? Anything you want to say in clothing?
I want to thank everybody for listening, and that's for all the AudioWrestling.com shows, because it's cool to have so many people that can come to one place and get their wrestling fix.
From different sources.
Love us or hate us, as long as you listen, we don't give a shit. And, thanks to you guys for bringing us on here.
Right.
Well, you guys are welcome. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. It was cool.
Got lots of people in the chat room tonight. Let's thank them all.
Thanks to everybody in the chat room.
We got Humongous in the chat room.
They're making fun of you for actually reading the list when the people are already in there and know who the fuck's in there.
Hey.
They just want to hear their name on there.
Don't know who's in there, so kiss my ass.
Well, then I guess they should join the show live instead of downloading it.
All right. Anyway, I want to thank you guys from In Your Head for having us on the show.
I do want to say one thing.
Uh-oh.
I think JSK, one of these days on Wrestling News Live, he'll get the name of our site right.
Maybe.
InYourHeadOnline.com.
There you go. There you go.
He can say it now, but it'll be InYourHeadRadio.com or
Hot sauces.
InYourHotSauces with a PWindsor.com.
Hey, that's my stick, man. I screw up websites. How's that?
Yeah, the only problem is he plays this stupid gimmick on our show, and he doesn't have near the tits that Maria has.
Oh, I'm in love with her now.
That Maria is one fine motherfucker, boy.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, thank you guys for having us on the show.
Oh, thanks for coming on.
Applied on the forums for it. I hope you listen to In Your Head Wrestling. Download the show and then go post it on the forum.
That's right.
On our new website, you can just listen. You don't have to download it.
That's right.
There you go. Just click on the website. Oh, that's great.
Is there anybody we want to be looking out for in the upcoming weeks on Wrestling News Live?
We're still trying to get Sabu.
Sabu's thing is just, man.
That's hard to do, man.
Yeah.
It's hard. You want to talk about trying to track down a guest. That's what
He's told us twice. Yeah, he's told us twice he'd love to do it, and then it's just one of those things where it's a timing issue. We're probably going to start bringing on some of the TNA guests that we haven't had in a while, or haven't had at all, and hopefully they'll get on TV soon.
Are we still trying to get Hardy?
Oh, well, we've actually spoke with Matt Hardy, and there's a good shot that he might be going back to the WWE.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think Meltzer, he was supposed to be on Meltzer's show, and he canceled it. And I think Meltzer's kind of saying he was thinking that he's going to be going back to WWE soon.
He told us that even if he does go back to the WWE, he promised us an interview and that we will get it.
Oh, that's cool.
And I said, well, what we want to do is we want to come down to where he is and be on his reality show.
Yeah.
Is that a real thing? That reality show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's legit.
Is it going to be like on the internet, or is it going to be on TV?
Yeah, it's going to be on the internet.
Oh, okay.
Now, his new woman's a good-looking thing.
God damn. Woo.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, when you're Matt Hardy,
His new woman is hotter than Lita. Or Amy.
No.
Oh, yeah, she
Hardy's
is.
a big Lita fan.
Let's not go crazy.
hey, I've been a Lita fan for a long time, but I mean,
I'm just a big fan of hot blondes.
I like
Jessica Simpson, I don't care how stupid she acts on TV. That bitch makes me just stupid. And that's, ugh.
See, I'm that way about Stacey Keebler. She's been my favorite, and I'm that way about Lollipop. And I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I love the shit out of Lollipop.
I just like blondes. I don't know why.
Lollipop
Now-
and Stacey Keebler are gotta be my two favorites.
Trish Stratus makes me draw like a bus full of retards on the way to Chuck E. Cheese's.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
Me
I'm with
too.
JSK. I'm a Stacy Kubler fan.
I am such a thing. I'm more of a natural fan. You know what I'm saying? Stacey
Exactly.
Keebler is all natural. Natural beauty, natural everything. And she's just smoking leak lucky.
I have a hard enough time deciding between paper or plastic at the grocery store, let alone when it comes to tits. So I'm good either way. It doesn't have to be natural for me.
Oh, no.
Lollipop is not natural. We all know that, but she's still hotter than a June bug. Sitting on a hot roof in the middle of June.
Get her done.
Get her done.
All right, well.
That was dumber than a deaf mute getting bingo, trying to yell bingo and can't say bingo. B4.
I hear you.
Wow.
Oh,
Well, this is the greatest interview we've ever done in all of our lives.
I doubt that.
Yeah, me too.
That and the fact you've only been on the air for, what, a couple months now?
About 3
Hey,
months.
we've interviewed J.J. Dillon.
Yeah. Lanny Poffo.
Lanny.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Carino.
Steve Carino was
that
good.
Steve Carino show, when we put that up, we had, first day we put it up, we had 481 unique hits on the site.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's a good thing.
All right,
Definitely.
thanks, guys.
Hey, thank you. Make sure you check out Wrestling News Live every Sunday night at 11 p.m. Eastern right here on AudioWrestling.com or WrestlingNewsLive.com.
If you need any more reason to go and listen and talk in the chat room,
Jack will be there.
Jack will be there.
And Barbie is sometimes in there.
Yes.
If he hasn't got hospital appointments on a Monday morning.
I just realized we've got to work on the on letting the guests go.
We really do.
It's like a 10-minute farewell.
Watch this, I'll help you out.
I'm hanging up
Okay,
on it.
asshole. It's too late. He hung up on us.
What's up, guys? This is Lance Hoyt, and you're listening to InYourHeadOnline.com. Get ready to drop that H-bomb, because I know I am, and I'm having a good time doing it.